Hey there viewers, welcome back to Rave All Trades. We are working on a buddy's MS460. He hardly ever uses this thing. He had it sitting in storage for quite a while. He tried to start it, said yeah, it doesn't start. But going through it, he said, hey, this thing needs a little TLC. And go ahead and throw a tune-up on it if I could. You know, new air filter, spark plug, things like that. You know, oil change, wheel alignment, you name it. So let's see what we can come up with. I did order some chains. It says that it was made out of German steel. I don't know that I've ever used that brand before, but it had really good reviews. Got a 3-pack of those. And I like using the HIPAA parts. I found a HIPAA air filter and had some, I don't think I need them, but it also came with intake, some fuel lines, oil filter, fuel filter. I was really after the air filter, which honestly, it was like $2 more to get everything with it. Let's just get this thing broken down and see what we're looking at. It's a mean saw, and normally it runs. It's been sitting like he said, but I hear a decomp lever. Oh, it's already mashed, yep. Got massive compression. Air filter is a flock style air filter, and it's actually pretty dirty. It's hard to tell in a flock style filter, but I can tell you that I'm holding it up to a light and I can't see through it. And I can also see sawdust packed in that screen. So I know that the air filter is pretty dirty. It is a factory filter though. I forgot that the plastic cover is in the way of pulling that out. NGK BPMR 7A. Got a medium brown color to it. Gap's a little bit on the tight side. Let's see what it's actually running. Shoot, this thing is gapped. I can't even get my 20,000s in there. So, yep, gap was wrong. Okay, got a little starter rope up here. Let's get this bar and chain off. Gosh. Wow. All right, so with as loose as that chain was, I really did not expect these to be tight like this. I thought for sure they were going to be loose. Just normal wear on the chain guides, dirt. Let's see. And the sprocket's got wear. I know a lot of people might call that worn out. I say that it's probably only half worn out. It's got some life left to it. I've definitely seen them a lot worse. It's, I don't know, 60% worn out, something like that. So most likely a 3/8 7 tooth. So we're just going to gently put the plug back in for right now to keep the dirt out. It's just got a very small amount of gas in it. I don't know if anybody was watching that 311 video I made that I did a slight porting job. I'm using air quotes for that because I don't know what I'm doing. I literally just took away some material. But I was playing with it, and I was actually very surprised how well it woke that saw up. Yep, got sawdust and some cloudy gasoline. That's definitely a no-go. Let's pull the recoil off of here. That way I can get to just the main pieces, clean it out. You know, use a compressed air, things like that. Just get this thing cleaned up. After I get it cleaned up, we'll pull the muffler to look at the piston and rings. But for right now, I'm just going to leave them on to keep all the dirt from getting in there. Actually, that's fairly clean. I'm used to these things being caked with dirt. I mean, this is dirty, but you can see it's not that bad in comparison. The fins aren't all caked up with sawdust. Yeah, not too bad at all. Let me just take a little bit of time, get this thing cleaned up, get a brush, some compressed air, things like that. Just get it all cleaned up. And I'll bring you guys back when we have something usable. I'm just going to use a wooden paint stirrer stick, so it keeps you from scratching up the paint and stuff like that. Get a lot of this stuff cleaned off over the top of a trash can. Get a pick in here and clean up some of these large chunks. Wipe some of this off and then take compressed air and, you know, blow across everything while it's all still assembled. I will set the choke to the on position to keep anything from going into the carburetor. Let me spend some time with this thing and I'll bring you guys back. In true fashion, I got dirtier, chainsaw got a lot cleaner. Let's go ahead and put some filters in this thing. New fuel filter. Air filter. Get a new spark plug. Spark plug gap. Stihl MS460. This is MS460 is 0.7 millimeters to inches is 0.0276. Set that washer down in place. But let's take a peek at that piston and rings real quick. Go. All right, what can I see? All right, can you guys see? Tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna pull that other piece off of there so you guys can see better. I can see fine. Now can y'all see it? I hope. Rings and piston and cylinder look fantastic. Rings aren't stuck. There's no vertical scoring. I don't see anything back on the cylinder wall in the back area, like a four-corner scoring from, you know, running it before it got a chance to get warm. going to start my 2 bolts. Let's go ahead and clean that screen while we're at it. Put it in the vise, and I'm going to put a torch across it and just get it all nice and hot. I don't know if you can see, it's not really clogged, but it's also not perfectly clean either. There you go. Can you see the difference? Put my boot back on. I think maybe we'll change out that oil filter as well while we're doing our tire rotation, alignment, safety inspection. Thrust angle alignment. You name it, whatever else we can do. Yeah, 3/8 by 7 steel brand sprocket. So clutch drum, we'll go ahead and clean that out. Clutch drum bearing. There's my clutch. Springs are intact. Clutch is pulled together like it's supposed to be. We might be able to pop that off. Let's put that compression valve up. All right, so this comes off reverse thread. And there's our oil pump. Here's our oil pump drive gear. 2 bolts, and then here's our oil pump. Now let's clean some of that out because I want to show y'all how to get that oil filter out of there. All right, so this rubber piece down here, this is the oil line. That's a connection directly into the tank. There's a filter on the end of it. We're going to pull it out and replace the filter and either put this line back in, or we'll replace it if we have one. Well, actually, I know we have one. I'll just see what kind of condition it's inside. This one here is another rubber seal. This one comes up and comes out right here, right in here, and that's where your oil comes out for your bar. So you've seen the hole on the bar up here at the top. The oil comes out of here. So basically it's pumping out of this passage. It connects into your tank, and then it pushes it in here, which comes out this hole up here. If the band gets in your way, obviously you have to pull the clutch drum band out the way. I can usually snake it past there, but we'll find out. Depends how bad a shape it's in. Oh yeah, we're changing this line because I'm tearing it, getting it out of here. There we go. And then there's just enough room to pull the filter through that passage. If the brake drum doesn't hang you up, which that's doing on me right now. All right, so I gotta get that one out of the way. So we're gonna pull this screw right here. Right inside here is a pin that keeps this straight. She's starting to wiggle out. All right. Once you've pulled it loose, all you have to do is rotate it. All right. She's designed to just rotate that direction and pop right off of that groove. Anyway, that's what your oil line looks like, and there's your oil filter. We're going to be changing both of those. I'm actually really glad I pulled this out because this is a lot stiffer than it should be. I wouldn't have thought it was that bad. Let me wipe some of this up out of here. I'm going to get pretty doggone messy, so let me turn the camera off for a minute, and I'll bring you back here in just a second. You guys didn't see that. Doggone it. All right. Anyway, the brand new hose looks just like this. There is a keyway right here. I just put the new oil filter on it, shove it into the hole, turn it, and then push in so that this surface right here seals up on that outside diameter, and then this little keyway, this tab, lines up down here in this corner hole. And then the pump, so this piece right here goes into that hole. This piece right here lines up with that seal right there. So you see how I'm spinning this gear, and this thing is moving back and forth. Like, watch closely back here in this area. As I'm spinning it, it's moving in and out. So the back side of this is at an angle. So there's a spring pushing tension against it to hold it backwards. And then as this is spinning, that cut angle is riding on the little tooth here that's connected to this adjuster screw to determine like how far in and out this can go. So as it's spinning, that's pushing this, basically this valve back and forth just because of the angle. So as it's spinning, it's riding on that little slant, pushing it in and out. So the spring's one way, and then the friction of this is going the other way. That's what's pulling oil from here. This pump that's inside here, it's pulling oil through here and spitting it out there. Anyway, if you've got an oil leak that's occurring down inside this area, it's usually that ring right there, you know, that hose, or the pump itself. So I've seen these leak before. That's usually your problem. You get a crack right in here. And then on some of them, there is a hole right up here that there's a plug in that falls out, and that can also cause that problem. But Hopefully with just knowing what to look for, you'll be able to identify where it's coming out of. So let's put that back on. Careful not to over tighten these screws because they have a T27 head, but they are kind of small. And you're seating this against those two sealing surfaces that we were just talking about. Okay. Drop some there like that. The next piece is this one. And you see where it says top? It doesn't mean top. It means that it doesn't go that way. It goes that way. Before I get too far, let's put this brake band back on. So it drops up in there like that. And right inside that groove. Push it in far enough because you got to push that one screw back up through there. Then this clutch goes on counter rotation. You can use a piston stop on here. You pull out the spark plug and put a piston stop. I usually just use an impact, light duty impact. And then the compression kind of causes like a springing motion to keep me from over tightening it. For the record, that's not the right way. The right way is to put a torque wrench on it, put a piston stop in here, and tighten it to the proper torque. That's the proper way. If you happen to get this apart, I've got lots of videos talking about how this all works together. Basically, this plastic connects to that arm connects to that arm. This one has spring tension to allow it to snap forward. And then as it trips forward, it pulls this band. When this band compresses, it grabs against this drum and stops the chain from spinning. So. And whenever I'm doing a full rebuild, I always tear that thing completely down. Which wasn't a full teardown, this was supposed to be a tune-up. Let's grease up this bearing. Some of them actually have a port that you would shove grease into that front hole right there, and it would spit oil or spit grease out that line. This one doesn't have it. I'm noticing a lot of them don't have it. I saw it a lot on the Husqvarnas, the older 2 series and the earlier series. All right, see that little groove right there? That groove lines up on that, you know that white part that had a gear on it with an arm sticking out? That little arm lines up into that groove. If you don't get it right, it won't go all the way on and you'll never get the E-clip back on. But the idea is look for that little arm. So let's see, mine is right there, sticking up. So I'm going to try to line that part up. You should be able to just give a little bit of pressure until you feel it line up. and feel it drop on. The problem is if you push hard enough, there it goes, it just dropped in. If you push hard enough, you'll turn the oil pump at the same time and you'll never get them to line up. Everybody always says, oh, just turn it and it'll line right up. I've found if you're pushing really hard on it, you're turning the oil pump at the same time and you're not going to get it to line up. So anyway, it drops in like that. Put your rim sprocket on. Change it if you need to. Wish I had a brand new one I could show you. This one here's got quite a bit of life left in it. If I was a professional shop, I would probably say that, yeah, you absolutely need one because that's what you do. You know, it's in your possession. So my thing is I don't have one. This is an outstanding friend of mine, and he's going to tell me if it doesn't, you know, when it breaks. So, and I'll be back in here doing it. So he's one of them 2 o'clock friends, 2 a.m. friends. Y'all know what those are? If you got a friend that you could call them at 2 o'clock in the morning, it wouldn't matter. And you said, hey, I need blah, 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 and they'll show up. Yeah, he's one of them. So, and I will do anything in the world to help him. It's nice having friends like that, isn't it? What do they call them? The other ones are the 6 p.m. friends. As long as you catch them before 6 p.m., they'll help you. And then you have your 2 a.m. friends, the ones that'll help no matter what, daytime, night, you know. Yeah, I truly count myself blessed to have friends like that. Okay. On the bar, actually this one's not too bad, but on the bar I always use a scraper and scrape out any kind of debris you can find in there. Right. And then something that's extremely critical that I don't know how many people overlook, and I'm really surprised. Probably about the same quantity, maybe not the same people, but the same quantity of people that I see who put chains on backwards. All right, so look at this hole right here. See that one, that small hole? When I run this pick through there, you can see it pass by, right? All right, so the oil comes through that hole, and that's how it gets to the bar, the chain, so that it can lubricate that bar. All right, now people will say, okay, well then to make your bar wear evenly, flip it over occasionally, right? So they'll flip it over, and they will start running it. And next thing you know, it burns up a chain. Here's why. So see this hole right here? That's the same hole you just saw on the other side. Watch what happens when I pass the pick past it. Do you see it? You don't, because the oil never made it through there. Because this passage will always be blocked on the opposite hole. Okay, now you can see it pass through. So, and that only matters if you're flipping the bar over, right? Because it doesn't get oil any other way. But right now, the oil that's coming out of here needs to get through one of these 2 holes. So if I mounted the bar this way, which is the way that it would have worked just fine. If I flipped it over to get even use on the bar, I would have had a problem. And you'd be surprised how many people either don't know it or don't care or don't pay attention. So we're putting a brand new chain on this thing, and I'm anticipating it's going to be a little bit tighter than the last one. Let's go ahead and move that back. Grab one of these chains. I'm hoping that they're good. I mean, they had great reviews. Made out of German steel, things like that. Where's my knife? Let's see. 3/8 chain, 0.05 width, 84 drive length. It says it's a 24-inch chain. It did say 24/25, so I'm anticipating and I'm hoping this is 25 because that's what this bar actually is stamped as a 25. There's nothing on here other than the ad on Amazon that says it was made in, says it was German steel. So don't take my word for it. I'll link them in the description so you can see them. Don't take my word for it, because I couldn't tell you where it was made. All I'm saying is what's on the package. And then, of course, what was on the seller and description. So generally, German steel is pretty good stuff and pretty sought after. Trying to keep the rest of the package together. That's why look like I'm dancing with cats right now. Nice heavy looking chain. It's even got little grooves in it to help carry the oil, I'm guessing. And that's what those holes are supposed to be for, but nice sharp edge on it. Check our punch list. So, four-wheel alignment, check. Change out the summer air for winter air, check. Actually, I didn't, because this actually has a summer-winter slide up here. No, I didn't touch that. Oil change, oil and filter change. Well, kind of check, right? We changed the oil filter. It didn't have any oil, so sure, we changed that too. Headlight alignment. Let's lift up on this bar. Let me try to prop this on something so y'all can see what I normally do. So I've got the end propped up, which is simulating me holding up on the bar. So then I adjust my chain till the bottom just touches the bar here. And while I'm holding up, I'll then snug it up. Not all the way, but I'll just snug it up, set it down. I usually use a tool, spin this thing a few times. Then I grab it, and what I'm looking for is, can I lift at least 3 drivers above the bar? See, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. I don't know. So it might be a little bit on the loose side. But right now, when I pull down, it snaps back up and touches the bar again. On a 25-inch bar, that's pretty good. Then I just snug it down. Now, the very first cut, actually probably honestly the warm-up, to be honest with you. But anyway, let's just say the very first cut, I'm anticipating this thing's going to stretch to the point where it has probably hanging down like that. That's my guess. So then I'll go back and retighten it up. But I just want it to stretch like normal without jumping off. I'm hoping that we don't have to adjust the carburetor. That would possibly indicate that I have an air leak or something like that. But this bar here has a grease hole. So, not all of them do, but the ones that do, you inject grease into there, turn it a little bit, to access the rest of the roller bearings that are inside there. And then there you go. All right, nothing left to do but to fire it up, see how she cuts, see how she runs, any kind of fine tuning, but I think she's ready to roll. I'm going to bring you guys back when it's A, warm outside, and B, is daylight outside, because right now it's not. So I'll see you guys sometime. Alright, that's the MS460. See how the chain, literally 3 cuts, and see how loose it got? So I'm just going to retighten that chain back up, and she's ready to roll. Give this back to my buddy. MS460. Hope you all got something out of the video. Really appreciate you hanging out. I'll catch you guys on the next one.